I started a dossier on Bianca Cardello based on the information Dexter sent me. I should start there. I should call Detective Brunetta. Some of these could have hundreds of matches, but I'm only considering historic people I think fit the general circumstances.
Pronto, Detective Brunetta.
Buongiorno. This is Malachi Rector. I need to speak with you about the death of Bianca Cardello.
I was told to expect your call. Meet me at 425 alla Due Colonne. That's the site of the murder.
Thank you. I'll see you there. The veins and arteries of Venice. This canal is one of the smaller ones. That house needs repair. A lot of these Venetian homes have been passed down through generations, and the current owners can't afford the upkeep. That must be Detective Brunetta. I wonder how Amble Dexter got the Italian police to work with me. There's definitely more to this than Dexter was willing to tell me. Are you Detective Brunetta?
That is correct, Mr. Rector?
Yes.
I've been told to answer any questions you have about the death of Bianca Cardello. I can't say I understand why.
Well, I'm glad to know where you stand, Detective. Let's get started, if you don't mind. Tell me about Bianca Cardello.
She was a popular figure in Venice. Everyone knew her. She was even named the most beautiful woman in the city several years ago. The public wants her killer found, and so do I.
Tell me about Bianca Cardello's murder.
We know she was followed while walking home from a concert. She ran. The killers caught up with her here where we're standing. They hanged her from this bridge.
Sounds familiar. In fact, I read that much in the papers.
I can't read your mind, Mr. Rector. If you have questions, ask them.
She was walking home from a concert alone?
That's right. She went by herself.
Was she robbed? Molested?
No, Mr. Hector. The postmortem shows no signs of rape. As for robbery, her purse fell into the canal and we retrieved it. Nothing was taken from it. Her jewelry was also left untouched, including a diamond ring worth more than I make in a month.
Were there any witnesses?
None. We checked every residence in the area. No one admitted to seeing anything.
Do you have any leads on the killers?
No. We found no physical evidence. Nothing.
Tell me about the Cardolo family.
I have the feeling you know better than
I really don't.
She comes from a very distinguished Venetian family, and her husband, Dante Cardolo, is an important man in local politics. They're above reproach, and also innocent, in my opinion.
It's always good to know your source. You won't mind telling me something about yourself?
That depends on what you want to know.
Do you know the Cardolo family personally?
I'm not a part of that high society, even if I have the time to have a social life, which I don't.
You said you were told to answer my questions. Can I ask by whom?
You don't know?
I'm not in the habit of asking questions I know the answer to.
I was told it came from a mayor's office. You were hired by Signor Cardolo, perhaps?
No, it wasn't Cardolo.
Interesting. Well, at least I know that much.
Those are all the questions I have, Detective.
Maybe someday I'll know what this was all about, eh?
I doubt it. Even I don't know what it's all about. But I wish you luck in finding Bianca's killer.
I'll need more than wishes. Arrivederci, Mr. Hector.
Arrivederci. Pardon, Signora. May I have a word with you?
Yes? What can I do for you?
The old woman must own that rundown house. They're a matched set.
Yes, Signore. What can I do for you?
I would like to speak with you about the murder, Signora.
No, I'm sorry. I won't speak about that. I already said as much to the police.
But I am not the police. You can talk to me.
I don't know you, Signore. And it is too terrible to talk about. No.
I noticed that you seem nervous, Signora.
You would be nervous too if unspeakable things happen just outside your front door. I do not wish to talk about it.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Malachi Rector.
Buonasera, Signore. I am Caterina Falone.
Is this your home, Signora? It's lovely.
Ah, grazie. It's been in my family for 4 generations.
Thank you for speaking with me, Signora.
It was a pleasure to speak with such a fine gentleman. Arrivederci.
believe that's a younger photo of Signora Filone, the woman who lives near the site of Bianca's murder. She's wearing a Venetian Murano glass necklace. I don't recall seeing it on her when we met. There's something on the bottom of the canal. Could it have fallen from Bianca's purse? That wouldn't do much good. According to Brunetta, not a soul in those buildings saw the murder. Bianca ran from the killers, and they caught her here. It's probable that this location was random, but not the public hanging. Her death was meant to be noticed. There's nothing I need to access on the other side of that bridge. The police thoroughly swept the bridge for clues, and I don't see anything unusual about it.
Come in, Mr. Rector. Please, sit down.
Thank you, Signor Condelo. I'm sorry to intrude at a time like this.
I've been asked to speak with you, and that request came directly from the U.S. Embassy.
Impressive.
What interest does the United States have in my wife's murder? Do you think it was a terrorist act? Why would they want to hurt Bianca?
I don't have the answers, Signore. I'm still investigating.
Very well. I've already been over everything with the police a dozen times, but I'll do what I can to help you.
Tell me about Bianca.
What would you like to know?
How did you meet Bianca?
Bianca's family is one of the most influential in all of Italy. I have known her father for many years. I watched Bianca mature. She was the perfect politician's wife. She loved meeting people and doing philanthropic work. I knew she would make the perfect wife for a man of my ambitions. Fortunately, her father agreed, and I was able to convince her to marry me, even though she was quite young at the time.
How old was Bianca when you married her?
She was 18 and I was 43. But she was very mature for her age. She knew the life she wanted, and I could give it to her. She was happy in our marriage, especially once our son came along.
I realize it is difficult to speak ill of the dead, but Bianca must have had some flaws. No one is perfect.
It is a good thing that I, myself, am a man who often has to say things no one wants to hear, because otherwise I would throw you out of the house for that impudence.
As you say, getting to the truth is not always pleasant.
She was a beautiful young woman. She had some insecurities. Never thought she was good enough, perfect enough. Perhaps I should be grateful for that. If she had been more confident, she might never have married me.
I appreciate your honesty, Signore. How old was Bianca when she had your son?
It was a year after our marriage. She was 19. Does that have some relevance?
We'll see. Did your wife play piano?
No, she was quite musical, but she preferred dance. She was in a classical dance company before we were wed. As for the piano, Bianca loved to entertain, and music was always a part of such evenings.
Bianca quit dancing after you were married?
Of course. It was hardly appropriate for the wife of a man in my position.
It would help me to know more about you.
Very well.
Was Bianca your first wife?
See, I worked hard all my life, and I'm not ashamed to say I enjoyed my youth. But a man who wishes to accomplish certain things in life needs a wife. Bianca was everything I needed. She had beauty, style, connections. I doubt I will ever find her equal.
Tell me about your work.
I am consigliere of Venice. I used to practice law, but for now my focus is exclusively on politics. Venice is struggling, as is all of Italy. It will take the best of all of us to save her, if we can.
I must ask you about Bianca's murder.
If you must.
Do you know who killed Bianca?
No, she was a beautiful and gracious young woman. She had no enemies, nor do I.
Tell me about the night it happened.
Bianca wished to attend a concert. She had a number of musician friends from her student days. I declined to go with her. It was nothing important, and I preferred to get some work done. Now I wish I'd never allowed her to go out alone.
You couldn't possibly have known. It's not your fault.
I'm afraid I must get back to work. In times of fiscal crisis, one is not even allowed the solace of grief. You may stay and look around. I have told the staff that you are free to come and go. You'll find Bianca's bedroom through that door there. And before you ask, the house has plenty of rooms. Bianca liked having her own sanctuary. We were happily married.
I would be the last person to judge such an arrangement. Thank you for your time, Signor Cardolo.
Goodbye.
Bianca liked to entertain. I imagine there will be few parties in this room now, at least until Signor Cardolo remarries. I don't play. Florist's putty. The material can be surprisingly versatile. I don't think Signor Cardolo will miss this. Sympathy cards for Bianca. That brings home the tragic aspect of all this, doesn't it? I've no use for those cards. White roses. Traditional for funerals and weddings. Appropriate since both are equally tragic. Sympathy cards for Bianca. That brings home the tragic aspect of all this, doesn't it? I've no use for those cards. The sofa and chair are Queen Anne, but they've been reupholstered in red leather. Hideous. I prefer to stand. The sofa and chair are Queen Anne. I prefer to... A wedding photo of Bianca and Dante Cardolo. She has a striking figure. What I can see of it around that large bouquet. Someone must have a love of dance, or bare navels. It doesn't do anything, thank God. The Cardola home is on one of the oldest and most prestigious canals in Venice. It's the perfect address for someone with ambition. Her robe and slippers are still laid out, waiting for Bianca to come home. I wonder how long it will be before someone dares put them away. Signor Cardolo said this was Bianca's room, which means I presume that this was not the matrimonial bed. The bench looks like it's been well used. Nothing helpful about it, though. I can't relax in here. Too many reminders of Bianca. What a tragic ending. This bed set is a 19th century reproduction. Expensive, but not valuable, or even in good taste. It appears to be an old family Bible. Really not my cup of tea. That must be Bianca's son. He's young to lose a mother. The top drawer of the dresser. Gloves. This is quite an assortment. Not many women wear gloves these days. I wonder what Bianca saw in them. Interesting. This glove is quite large. It would fit my hand. These overly large gloves are interesting, but I don't need to take them with me. Gloves. This is quite an interesting. These overly large gloves are really not my cup of tea. Nearly everything in this room matches. I prefer a more eclectic approach myself. The desk is 19th century, Italian design. Bianca's planner. It's open to the day she was murdered. She'd written in a concert for that evening, but there's nothing else relevant. Postage stamps? Do people actually mail things anymore? The notebook looks brand new. Nothing interesting. They look like drawers, but they're decorative. They don't actually open. Nothing interesting. Nothing interesting. Nothing interesting. Blank envelopes. Nothing interesting. Perfectly ordinary clear tape. A small desk clock. Worthless. Nothing interesting. Bianca kept some pens in here. No surprise, it is a writing desk. I recognize that. It's a key slot, probably for a secret drawer. I recognize that. It's a key. I need the key. It would be broad and flat. There's a light breeze tonight. Perhaps it's an incoming storm. Dance images and more family photos. Boring. Dance images and more family.
Mr. Hector, it's a pleasure to see you. Welcome back to Venice.
Thank you, Signor Barozzi.
Did you come about the figurine? Let me know when you're ready to see it.
Signor Giuseppe Barozzi. I've known him for years. While his stock is usually lower grade, he knows when he's seen something significant, and he calls me. Signor Barozzi, might I have a word?
How can I help you, Mr. Hector?
Do you carry Venetian Murano glass jewelry?
I have a few good pieces. They're in the display behind you if you care to take a look.
That's all for now.
As you wish.
This Venetian necklace looks similar to the one Signora Filoni wore in her younger days. I think this one is worth a purchase. I'd like to buy this necklace.
Certainly. Let me get that for you. Shall I put it on your account?
Please.
There you are. You have a good eye, as always, Mr. Hector.
Signor Barozzi, might I have a word?
How can I help you, Mr. Hector?
How is the antique business in Venice these days?
How good can it be with this global recession? Italy is drowning in debt, and the protesters keep even the tourists away. In all honesty, I have never seen conditions so desperate.
Fortunately, there's always a market for luxury items. The rich get richer even in a downturn.
How can you say so? The EU is about to collapse. There are terrible days ahead for everyone.
I don't believe it's as bad as all that. The press love to fearmonger.
I am afraid it is that bad. Unless we can find some brilliant leadership to steer the world out of this mess, things look very black.
Well, I hope I am standing here in a year, and you can tell me you were wrong.
So do I.
Did you know Bianca Cardolo?
Why, yes. That is, I knew who she was. She even came into the shop one time. Her murder is incomprehensible.
I'm looking for information about her.
I didn't know her personally, but I'll tell you what I can. What do you want to know?